What's happening behind the scenes of the Browns organization feels like the lid has finally blown off a pressure cooker that's been building for months, and the truth, now spilling into the public, is sending shockwaves throughout the NFL. Leaked practice footage, frustrated superstars, desperate executives, and a narrative that was carefully crafted only to collapse in the most humiliating fashion imaginable. This is the moment where everything the doubters mocked and dismissed is being exposed, and the consequences are playing out in real time for the whole league to witness. For months, a very calculated story was being pushed about Shadur Sanders. Long before the draft, even before teams finalized their evaluations, the criticism felt strangely coordinated, almost rehearsed. The goal wasn't to analyze him as a player, but to chip away at his reputation as a person. They tried to paint him as immature, unfocused, arrogant, even unstable. And the speed of this narrative spread was no coincidence. Every small misstep, every minor incident, especially that now infamous speeding ticket, was magnified to the point of absurdity. You would think he committed some high-level crime the way the Cleveland media dragged it across the airwaves, repeating it day after day, breathlessly lecturing audiences about character concerns. Yet when Browns superstar Myles Garrett got a ticket for the same thing, the story vanished almost instantly. No outrage, no think pieces, no talk about accountability. And that double standard, that selective outrage, revealed the agenda more clearly than anything else. But while the media was busy tearing him down, Shatter was quietly doing exactly the opposite. While some tried to paint him as arrogant and unfocused, he was spending time in neighborhoods most young athletes avoid. He walked into schools unannounced, showed up for kids with no cameras around, no PR team crafting messages, no social media posts waiting to be uploaded. It was real. It was genuine. And it was everything the media didn't want to talk about because it contradicted the narrative they were committed to pushing. The truth didn't support their storyline, so the truth was ignored. This wasn't about football readiness. This wasn't about genuine concerns. It was deeper, uglier, and tied to an industry that's always uncomfortable when a young, confident black quarterback refuses to shrink himself to fit some outdated mold. Shatter represented something they couldn't control. A player with pedigree, talent, charisma, and roots in communities that look like him. That kind of influence scares people in positions who still believe certain players should stay in their place. And when they can't attack the father who refuses to play their game, they go after the son instead. And then came the draft. The moment where the Browns believed they were being wise, strategic, even clever. They passed on Shadur Sanders with full confidence, convinced the media narrative they helped create justified their choice. Instead, they put their faith in Dillon Gabriel, a quarterback they believed was safe, uncontroversial, low risk. Someone who wouldn't challenge the locker room hierarchy. Someone easy to control. What they got instead was a disaster. As the season unfolded, Dillon Gabriel didn't just struggle. He imploded. Multiple starts, multiple failures, and performances so painfully ineffective that analysts weren't calling them disappointing, but unwatchable. Not developing. Not inconsistent. Unwatchable. That was the word one of their own insiders used. And the same media members who once pushed Gabriel as the right choice suddenly flipped, admitting they were skeptical all along, pretending the warning signs had always been obvious. Yet if those concerns were real, why weren't they shared before the draft? Why was the coverage focused on tearing down Shatter instead of honestly evaluating Gabriel? The answer is simple. The narrative mattered more than the truth. Inside the Browns facility, the tension has become impossible to ignore. Reports describe frustration boiling over. Myles Garrett, the face of the franchise, the superstar who does absolutely everything asked of him, is tossing his helmet on the sideline because he knows his efforts are being wasted. The defense is carrying the team, yet the offense can't move the ball. The coaching staff is pretending to evaluate everything, yet the one position that needs change the most remains untouchable. No amount of scheme adjustments, new route concepts, or shuffled personnel can fix a quarterback who simply isn't ready for the NFL. But instead of facing reality, the organization is clinging stubbornly to a decision that's spiraling into embarrassment. And the irony, the absolute poetic twist of fate, is that the same analysts who once praised Shatter as a top 2 quarterback in the entire draft class suddenly changed their tone as soon as the narrative against him heated up. Prominent voices once called him elite, poised, NFL ready, but when the negativity started, they went silent. Now, watching Gabriel implode and the Browns' offense collapse, those same voices are trying to backpedal, pretending they weren't part of the machine that tore down a player who deserved better. The truth is simple. The Browns didn't make a football decision. They made a narrative-driven decision. And they're paying for it every single week. So what do you think? Was there a coordinated effort to tear down Shadur Sanders? Did Cleveland make one of the biggest mistakes of the draft by passing on him? Can Dillon Gabriel turn it around? Or is the writing already on the wall? And where does this franchise go from here now that its quarterback situation has turned into a complete disaster? Let me know your thoughts in the comments because this is a conversation the NFL world needs to have. And if you made it all the way to the end, you're the real MVP. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who needs to understand what really happened behind closed doors in Cleveland. Your support keeps these deep dives alive. Until next time, keep your eyes open and never stop questioning the narratives.